welcome to the most beautiful part of Los Angeles. I can literally see downtown LA, but the view is not what I'm here for. I'm here for that Audi RS Q8. Let me show you around. Okay, so this is it. Super excited to be sharing this. In the same trip that I've seen the new RS6, this is the new Audi RS Q8 draped in Java green. I've seen Java green on Audis in the past, but in the LA sunshine, it looks absolutely ridiculous. What a fantastic paint. I think it suits the car wonderfully. First headline figure, this is now the fastest SUV around the Nürburgring. A cracking 7 minutes and 42 seconds around the ring for an SUV is incredible. Contributing to that is the 600 horsepower and 800 newton meters of torque, which is a vast contributor to that incredible Nürburgring lap time. Now, to improve the agility of this car, this has now also adopted the new rear wheel steer. If this feels anything like it does on the RS6, it will be a complete game changer for the dynamics of the SUV world. And then, of course, both RS6 and RS Q8 aren't exactly lightweight, both over 2 tons. However, in order to slow down that mass propelled by that 600 horsepower is the optional 10-cylinder carbon ceramic brakes. Not only do they look incredible, but they work phenomenally well too, shedding off some serious speed. And to accommodate those, as standard, the RS Q8 comes with 22-inch alloys, but these are fitted with the optional, wait for it, 23-inch wheels. They look unbelievable. Just look at the stance of the car. It has also adopted Audi's new air suspension. I believe it's a 3-cylinder air suspension system. The breadth of abilities, it gives such a broad spectrum from comfort to sport. The Air Ride suspension now offers such a wide breadth of ability depending on the road surface you're on or the driving style you'd like to adopt. And to tie all of that system together is a 48-volt anti-roll system. That is effectively a physics-bending piece of equipment which keeps the chassis and platform of this car basically flat when taking corners as fast as this car is now able to achieve. Don't forget that 7 minutes and 42 seconds around the Nürburgring is not hanging around, and in order to keep that mass in check, the engineers have applied this 48-volt anti-roll system. Once again, I've experienced this on similar products, and it is mind-bending just how well it's able to compose the roll and chassis of these cars. New to this car as well is the new RS Sport diff, which is effectively a fancy torque vectoring diff allowing for greater turning. It works in conjunction with the new rear wheel steering. I keep coming back around to the Nürburgring lap time, but it's just an example of what happens when you put all of these incredible systems together into one platform. But it's not all about performance. Of course, a platform like this is also about practicality and efficiency, which is a big word on Audi's mind these days. This is also now benefiting from the cylinder on-demand technology. So effectively, when you're on a cruise, it can, in effect, turn this car from a V8 to a 4-cylinder engine by shutting off 4 cylinders, effectively using a lot less fuel, and it now has the mild hybrid system applied. So when you decide to lift off the throttle and coast, the mild hybrid system assists you while you're coasting for up to 40 seconds. And it is, of course, still running the Quattro all-wheel drive system. And then we've got the way it looks. And in this Java green, as I mentioned at the beginning, it looks unbelievable. The sculpture is fantastic. I really love the way the RS department have sculpted their new design language. It looks so chunky, but this car is now 10 millimeters wider at the front and 5 millimeters wider at the rear, and that is mostly due to these new arches here, which you can see popping wonderfully in Java green. So let's just take a look around the aesthetics of the car quickly. Down here, massive carbon diffuser. I also have the familiar tailpipes, which remind me very much of the design of the exhaust from the C7 RS6, so that's nice to see that in there. Of these contrasting panels here, still the familiar light architecture of Q8, only this is running the very fancy LEDs in the rear. And then we work our way around to the front. Now just check out the air intake on this. Look at the size of it, it's so aggressive. So once again, we have massive amounts of carbon fiber. The amount of carbon fiber work that it has all around this sill, just shrouding this massive air intake. And this one is also spec'd with the sort of black optics pack, as it were. So you're able to spec the Carbon Edition, which allows you to have the logos blacked out. When you stand back from the front of this, the Audi badges blend into the grille. It gives it such a menacing look. And of course, this is now running the Matrix LED headlights. Now, not only do these propel light down the road, the visibility from them is fantastic, but they also are capable of displacing light around any oncoming cars. So if you're not quick enough to dip your beam, they don't blind anyone. And equally, when you're approaching somebody and they're in front of you, it will literally divert light around the car so it doesn't blind them from their rear view mirror. Very trick lights, and they look very cool. Also specific to RS is the continued roof line with this flick from the rear spoiler. Not sure how it contributes to aerodynamics, but aesthetically, I think it just finishes off the profile of the car incredibly well. Also, around the back, continuing on the carbon and black pack theme, I'm not sure if you can see this within this shadow, but this sort of cross panel here, that's all in gloss carbon fiber with the black non-contrasting Audi logo against it. I love the fact that Audi have gone and offered that as a black pack. What else is significant about this car is that this is the first time that Audi have entered this product segment. So no, not the SUV market, the high performance SUV market. This segment, as we know, is growing incredibly fast, and while I can sit here and tell you how amazing it looks, I just can't wait to get behind the wheel to really explain to you what this thing drives like. And so here we are. Absolutely stunning interior. I love what they've done with the contrast stitching. This is also in an iridescent green. I'm not sure if the stitch itself is called Java, but it matches perfectly with the Java paint. I never thought I'd be quite so taken with such a Kermit green paint job on a car like this, but I'm absolutely sold. Maybe it's just because I'm draped in the LA sunshine, but for me, it's really working here. Also a first on Audi products now is the ability to have the RS sports seats, the sports style seats like this, but still have the option to have them heated or air conditioned. In previous generations, I'm thinking more specifically now RS6, if you wanted the good looking and supportive sports seats, you weren't able to have the perforations and therefore the air conditioning. So while they've turned the performance up to 11, they also haven't forgotten about the practicality. It's also really interesting getting inside this interior, which is very familiar to RS6, but having a completely different feeling of ride height. Actually feels really good. This is also now running the new 8-speed torque converter gearbox. It is a more conventional automatic rather than a twin clutch. It's kind of reminding me of an RS6 on stilts. That's not to do this thing a disservice. In fact, as a proposition, I think it's fantastic. It looks amazing. And if it drives as well as RS6, which judging by that Nürburgring lap time, I'm sure it does, it's going to be an incredible package. I cannot wait to experience the first drive of this car. And we have the now familiar upgraded Audi infotainment system. 2 touchscreens split by the line through the dash, and these have haptic feedback. So when you interact with a setting like media, you get a subtle vibration and a reassuring click underneath your finger to let you know that you have interacted with it. Once again, going back to my recent experience with RS6, the advancements and evolution in this system is night and day from previous systems. Sat nav is so clear, obviously integration with Apple CarPlay, etc. And this is now spec'd with the new Bang & Olufsen sound system, which sounds incredible. So there you have it. That was a very quick introduction and walkthrough of that car. I appreciate that. Not only have Audi given me a short amount of time to get to grips with the car and share it with you, but I also now have to immediately head to the airport. So granted, it was a short intro, but importantly, I will be getting time with this car in the future, hopefully on the first drive. So with that in mind, please leave your questions and comments below as to what you would like me to explore when I eventually get behind the wheel of this car. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you next time. Ciao!